So, Gabriel, tell us about the heritage that we have as Dominicans. What is it that is unique about Dominica, the essence that we want to preserve?
Dominica was one of the last countries in the Western Hemisphere to be colonized. For a long time, our Kalinago people were able to fend off the Spanish and French and British colonizers. And when Dominica finally became a British, and before that a French colony, the enslaved African population always resisted and went into the mountains. Bala, Jaco, Congaree, Facel, they fought for freedom. In the early days, the local brown class, the mulatto, those who were offspring of the French planters, the British planters and local enslaved Africans and Caribs, were very fierce in the defense of the rights of the local legislature to have dominion over our affairs. And then later on, in the 1920s, when the soldiers came back from the First War, you had people like Cecil Rawle, Ralph Casimir, and J.B. Charles, the father of Eugenia Charles, struggling for the rights of Dominicans to have a say in their governance, and they formed a Dominica Representation or Self-Government Society. And in 1932, it was not Jamaica, it was not Barbados, it was not Trinidad, but it was Dominica, which under the leadership of Cecil Rawle, J. Ralph Casimir, Mr. Lockhart the attorney, and J.B. Charles again, who brought together West Indian leaders, people like Arthur Simpriani of Trinidad and Mary Shaw of Grenada, to have the conference in Dominica for West Indian self-government and West Indian Federation. So Dominica has always been in the lead. Today we face a challenge. Dominica, at a time of world crisis, has a need to have new leadership. A leadership that will respect that tradition of independence, of integrity, of a national and a nationalist vision. What is that vision? It is a vision that says at a time when the world's water resources are increasingly scarce, we need a national water policy that puts water in the hands of the Dominican people and doesn't sell it out from beneath them. At a time of a global energy crisis, we need a national energy policy that preserves the right of Dominicans to have their wind and their geothermal and their hydro within our control, and it's not sold out from beneath us. At a time when so many countries are desperate for food, we are a country with fertile soil, that we have a robust agriculture policy that has agro-industry at the core, and we produce what we eat more and more so we can prepare for the tough times ahead. None of that, my friends, can happen where we forget our proud legacy of being a law-abiding, integrity-seeking, industrious people. The time when politicians could swing a vote by having a band play and having handouts given, those days must, in fact, go away forever for us to survive. It will require from us as a people the important linkage between our local population and our overseas populations, not simply to come and vote, but to be integrally involved all through the years in science, in technology, by partnerships with the Dominica Academy of Arts and Sciences, by partnerships with other foreign universities, to really be able to grow innovation in technology and in science for the betterment of Dominica.
Let me put this to you as someone in the diaspora. There may be just as many Dominicans overseas as there are on the island. And they have so much to contribute. They contribute every year, all the time, to their families at Christmas and helping in so many ways with disaster relief and with development projects and everything like that. So over the years, the concept has developed of a seamless Dominica. Now, put yourself in the shoes of the average Dominican who has gone overseas for better economic opportunities for themselves and their family. Now, we don't want to be preaching to the choir, to the people who are politically astute, to the people who are on the emails and the internet all the time. We're talking about the average working class Dominican. How can you appeal and inspire that person to have a vision of that better Dominica?
Average Dominican who's gone overseas and worked hard as a janitor, as a laborer, as a miner, as someone on the London subway, as someone in New York working in the garment industry, is to come back having saved enough to live in Dominica, Dominica Ceo Paradis. However, we are losing paradise. There are those who will deny the introduction into a country of drug cartels. There'll be those who will deny that our crime rate has spiked in a manner never seen before. There'll be those who deny that Dominica has been used as a transshipment point now for cocaine to North America. We know that the average Dominican coming back doesn't want to live in a society like that. He wants a society where there is integrity in government. He wants a society where rule of law, in fact, exists. He wants a society where he's welcomed back as a person who has contributed all these years, if not directly, in being present in Dominica by putting his money in the credit union, in the local bank, in building a home, in helping during the times of disaster. It is dishonest of any government to want to pay for airline tickets for Dominicans to come and vote. When we asked in 2001, the Rosie Douglas Foundation, the Dominica Academy of Arts and Sciences, for Dominicans to be given the right to vote where they are, just like Americans, just like other major Western democracies, in situ, meaning where they are by absentee ballot. That means you don't have to be paid with a free air ticket to fly home. It means you can exercise your right. If you pay a poll tax, we can make a system that you have a poll tax, so you don't just vote, but you have a connectivity with Dominica that gives you a right to be involved in the development of your country. So we're saying to the average Dominican who's overseas, Dominica is ours to build, and we want you to be engaged. And we don't want any Dominican government, just because it disagrees where Dominicans overseas raise their voices for good governance, to automatically dismiss them. It's hypocritical to ask for our support politically, and then when we talk about being involved in the governance of the country and running things for the better, then you don't want to hear from us. It is also hypocritical to talk about a seamless nation, but not educate our students and our people in Dominica about the role that the diaspora has played all these years. Rosie came from the diaspora.
So it's not just a matter of something for the election or just because of a scandal or some issue that is going on. It's a matter of a lifetime of contribution, of organizing, and doing something for always with the development of Dominica in mind, living up to our highest ideals of our being.
Absolutely. In fact, I've been here 28 years. I have one daughter. One daughter. Her name is Dominique. Samora Dominique. We've been here in organization in Washington, D.C. through Eugenia Charles's time. We were not Freedomites, we supported her. We've been here during the time of the UWP. We were not UWPites, we supported that government. And yes, when the Labour Party came to power, historically we've been linked to the Labour Party, and we did all that we could.
When you say linked, we're talking about as history. Far as the Henkel...
Gabriel Christian is our uncle. That's my father's oldest brother, or dear uncle. He was Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education. Our parents, Alberta and Wendell, were founding members of the Labour Party. My mother worked with Phyllis Chandler in St. Joseph, the white Dominican writer, with Isilo Black, the black Dominican Mason. These people, our parents, worked to build the Labour Party. In 1979, when the Labour Party fell apart, there's people like myself and Rosie Douglas and others who helped build up the Labour Party when nobody wanted to be associated with the Labour Party.
So there's no thing about race and xenophobia against foreigners, either black or white.
Yes.
We need everybody who can contribute, all the resources to be able to work in a manner that is both fair, equitable, and without prejudice.
The first trip we took, you're absolutely correct, was with Rosie Douglas to University of New Orleans. They organized for training in tourism. We brought down Hillary Clinton's chef, Joe Yushinsky, white American. We've brought down people who are Asian. We've brought down people who are other. The fact is, we are not xenophobic. When we say have a national option in water, a national option in energy, we're not talking about keeping out foreigners. We will welcome foreign investment as we always have, but we want it to be that we are in control primarily of those resources. Because every advanced country that has made progress has kept the chunk of its national resource for the development of its people, and that's all we want.
And finally, regardless of what happens in the short term, can you give some sort of encouragement and inspiration to all Dominicans who seek the good of Dominica to keep on pressing on, to keep on working for the island that we love?
We know that the struggle is a long march. It's not a 100-yard dash. And we are respectful of the fact that we have built deep roots in Dominica, and we will continue to nourish those roots every way we can. Because, you know, Dominica is ours to build. And like the old Sissy Codera song, Pa kite yo poor Dominic hod nu, Pakite you poor Dominic new. So bottom line is we don't want it to be that Dominica is taken away from us and we shall win.